What's going on, my exotic family? It's your boy Dre. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here with my blood python Kato, and today we're going to be talking different ways that may help you get your snake from eating live to frozen. Stay tuned. Alright everybody, so welcome back to the video. Like I said, we're going to be talking different ways that you can get your snake to eat frozen instead of live. Now I want to say these ways are not guaranteed to make your snake eat frozen, and more than likely it's going to take more than one attempt. I pulled Kato out because Kato was my hardest snake to get to switch over, and there would even be times when he would switch over for a couple of weeks and then he'd go back on strike because he'd only want live. So I'm just going to run through a few of the things that I found that worked for me, and share them with you, and hopefully you guys can try them and see if they work for you. But nonetheless, so first thing I did with Kato, obviously I just went and got a frozen rat just to see if he'd eat it, and obviously I got no response. He did not like it, he didn't care, he didn't want anything to do with what I was doing. So my next step, obviously, instead of just buying the frozen rat, or his size, it was just a little small mouse. Instead of or a rat pup, I'm sorry. Instead of just buying the frozen rat pup, what I would do is I would try what's called scenting. Now scenting is where you take the frozen mouse or rat and you will rub it on something live that has a scent. So they pick up that scent and it'll make them a little more intrigued to eat. But there are multiple ways to achieve this. What I would do is, if I know I'm feeding him live, I would use the same container, same bedding, and I would get that rodent in that container, bring him home, and then feed him to Kato. And then as I was trying live or frozen, I would use that same container, put the frozen mouse or rat in there, leave him in there for about 10 minutes. Hopefully he'll pick up the scent. And it did work to some degree. It seemed like he started catching on, and he wouldn't take it after maybe like a month, so I had to go back to live. That didn't work. So of course there's more methods, and this is where I had to start really digging into my research and really seeing what I could do, because like I said, there's nothing particularly wrong with feeding live. It's just, for me personally, there are too many risks, and I have multiple snakes, and I just don't want to have to worry about anything going wrong with my snakes. So from that point, I tried what's called braining or debraining, and basically that is where you take the frozen mouse or rat and you cut a little slit in their head or their neck, and you squeeze out just a little bit of the organs, and usually that will intrigue the snake to at least come investigate. And I will say that right there is what jump started Kato onto eating frozen. That right there is really what made it click, and I think for like 6 months he actually was on frozen for me, and then he stopped again. So what did I end up doing is, he went from a 30-inch PVC enclosure to a 28 quart tub. And again, this is when he was a hatchling, so he was way smaller than this. So he went from, actually this enclosure here that the rainbow boa is in, he went from there, which is a 3-foot enclosure, to a 28 quart tub. And once I put him in the tub, he went right back to the live. But I can say, when I put him in the tub, I gave him 2 live meals. After that second live meal, I went back to debraining, and it worked like a charm. And this guy has been on frozen ever since. He is now 3 years old, and he still won't take from tongs, but I usually lay it. There's a rock I usually put in his enclosure when he's feeding. I lay it on the rock because he eats large rats, and I don't want him ingesting anything. So I lay it on the rock, and I walk away, come back, and he's either eating it or it's gone. So that I'm thankful for. I don't care that he doesn't take it from the tongs, but at least he's eating. So those are the ways that I've tried feeding, but there are more ways. So I'm editing, and I forgot to mention one more piece. Another method that I've done is, sometimes I would actually have to take the mouse or rat, lay it in the enclosure, obviously after thawing it out, warming it up, laying it in the enclosure and just leaving the snake in the dark, and check back on them in like 20-30 minutes. I've had the biggest success with that, so I just wanted to throw that tidbit in there because I did forget to mention it in the video. Another, I guess, method of scenting. Some people actually use chicken broth to scent their rodents, to get the snakes to be intrigued to eat. I see that a lot more with venomous, but I have seen it with some non-venomous species as well. And a lot of people have had success with it. Every method that I've tried, there are people that have had success with it. The one thing I can say is, like I said, these methods are not guaranteed, and it's trial and error. You have to see what works for you, but ultimately what works for the snake. You gotta make sure the snake is comfortable. But before any of that, I think one thing that we have to also make sure is if your snake isn't eating at all, it's definitely probably something going on with the snake or your husbandry, so check both of those. But if your snake is preferring live over frozen, more than likely that's just a snake thing. That's what they're used to, and that's what they prefer. But you can try any of these methods. Definitely do your research. There are some instances where the snake will just not switch over. If they were being fed live from babies, more than likely that's kind of what most snakes stick to. A lot of breeders often now will start their babies on a mixture of live and frozen, or strictly frozen. He came in strictly on live, and I got lucky to where he wanted to switch over. So trial and error, guys. So it definitely is trial and error, so you have to see what works for you. But nonetheless, if you are looking to get your snake to feed on frozen, because it is way easier to store 30 frozen rats than it is 30 live rats, and ultimately it's just less worry on your snake. You don't have to worry about the rat fighting back, or if they got bit, or that weird squeal they do when they get bit. Freaks me out. I don't know about you guys, but whatever. You don't have to worry about any of that. So I hope this video helps someone out there out. I know a couple people actually wanted me to do this video. Sorry it took so long, but hope it helps you guys out. Those are all methods that worked for me. All 13 of my snakes actually eat frozen. There's nothing in my reptile room that eats live other than the tarantulas and scorpions. So hope that works for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Tell me what methods you guys prefer when getting your snakes to switch over, or what methods you guys would like to try. I would love to hear from you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn your post notifications on so you don't miss any uploads. Upload twice a week. Every Monday, every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, stay exotic.